Hi, this is Shira Rubinoff, CEO of the Cybersphere Group. I'm here at the Billington Cybersecurity Conference with Irina Denisenko, CEO of Knox Incorporated. First of all, Irina, such a pleasure to be with you here today, but also I'm thrilled to have joined your advisory board.
Very excited to have you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, certainly. So, Irina, let's just jump right in. We spoke so much about, the past. We're selling to financials and selling to regulated companies where they had to have on-prem cloud because they had to have it within their organizations. And I remember back in early 2000, I had a company, Green Armor Solutions, a multi-factor and site authentication company, went into the banks, went into healthcare, and the only way they talked to us if they could run it on-prem. And even back then, I was an expert in the human factors piece I talk about, but what about the human risk? Fast forward about 20 years, and here we are today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on on-prem cloud.
Yeah, it's a great question and very timely. We just saw last month the nuclear agency be hacked through SharePoint because they were running an on-prem solution and it was a human factors hack that really took it down. This is unfortunately just one in a super long string of unfortunately very common events now targeting the most sensitive systems and the most sensitive workloads in our government. And so really what has happened over the last 5 years, certainly over the last 2 years, is now the data is pretty unequivocal. The cloud is more secure than on-prem. Putting your most sensitive workloads into on-prem solutions for the vast majority of workloads is kind of like putting your cash under the mattress. It kind of feels safe, and yet you think just a few more minutes about it and you realize, I should probably put my cash in the bank. It's the same exact idea with on-prem and cloud. And why is cloud so much more secure? It's not just it happened overnight. It took 25 years of the work that the hyperscalers have done, the work that the cyber industry has done, which is why we're at Billington really talking about this. And by the way, it's been the regulation that has been put on cloud for particularly government. And that's really where I know we'll talk about FedRAMP, but the key that really I think folks need to understand is cloud is the most scrutinized set of workloads you'll have anywhere. So you are not getting away with anything with cloud because it is so heavily scrutinized, so heavily monitored, whereas on-prem, unfortunately, is really left to one or two individuals who happen to be responsible for that. So that's why on-prem is less secure than cloud, and that's really why it really is a different world now from what it was 25 years ago in terms of how to deploy sensitive workloads.
Well, thank you for explaining that. And certainly it makes sense, right? We're talking about human risk all the time. How do we go as business as usual, be more secure, and just run really well what we need to do and get rid of human risk? So it just makes sense.
Yep.
So certainly. So what is the process for organizations to become FedRAMP certified today? And that's something we've talked a lot about and what your company does.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to step back, what is FedRAMP? FedRAMP is the really the regulation around how SaaS companies sell their and really deliver their SaaS solution to the federal government. Basically, in plain English, it is how are you protecting government data at rest and in transit? And there are all sorts of controls, hundreds of controls at the moderate baseline, at the high baseline, all in service of how are you protecting that data, are you encrypting it, and very, very specific code level control regulations around how that SaaS software needs to be delivered. Now, to get FedRAMP, first you need a federal sponsor, so you need an agency to raise their hand and say, I am going to take on your risk. It's kind of like when your kid goes off and lives in the big city and gets their first apartment. Who's the guarantor on that apartment? It's mom or dad. It's the same thing. It's the agency is taking that risk.
I can understand that could be super challenging for organizations as well.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's you have to convince a federal agency that, hey, I'm trustworthy enough for you to take on my risk. And then as the CSP, as the cloud service provider, you need to go build out an environment. It's totally separate from your commercial environment. You need to get a third-party assessment of that environment because FedRAMP is a third-party assessed framework, and you need to do that annually. And then you need to submit all of that to the agency, to the FedRAMP PMO, and have them validate it and double validate it. It's a very long process, as it should be, frankly. We want our cloud security to be secure. But it takes a long time. It takes about 3 years. It costs about $3 million. It is not for the faint of heart. And that's why there are currently less than 500 applications total that have FedRAMP. And so really what we're doing at Knox is we run the largest federal managed cloud in the world, and also the longest running. What that means in plain English is we run the federal production environments for Adobe, for Solonis, for a number of others. Basically, we are a real estate company. We are the apartment building in the very exclusive zip code of FedRAMP. Where to build your own house, it's going to take you, and get your own permits and so on, it's going to take you 3 years, $3 million. It's very challenging. Or you could move into our already deployed, already ATO'd. We have 15 ATOs. We've been running for more than a decade. You can move into one of those units. We deploy our customers as single tenant sub-accounts and ultimately achieve FedRAMP in 90 days at 90% off of what it costs to do it yourself. So it is an inherited FedRAMP model. And the reason it's so important is at the end of the day, there is no shortcut to FedRAMP, nor should there be. The security of cloud solutions that host some of our most sensitive government data cannot be put at risk. But what it really deserves is players who know how to do this. They've been doing it, and they've never failed an audit, never breached POEM SLAs, all of which Knox has, to really bring more innovative solutions to the government, which is really what we're here to do.
Well, very well explained, Irina. Thank you so much. And always a pleasure speaking with you. And certainly this has been an excellent conference. I've seen people surrounding you and talking to you and really trying to learn about how to become FedRAMP certified, but also really understanding the nuances of it. And that's certainly very well said, very well explained. And I encourage everyone to take a look at Knox Systems. And thank you for your time, Irina. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.